You're looking at a clip of a landslide that happened in Barangay Pilar in Abuyog, Leyte. Initial reports say 80% of the barangay was damaged by the landslide. That's according to the Bureau of Fire Rescue Team.
The death toll from Tropical Depression Agaton continues to rise. Tonight's big number, 43. That's the official casualty count of the NDRRMC. But numbers on the ground seem to be higher, with the cities of Baybay and Abuyog alone already reporting 57 deaths due to landslides. More are feared to be dead as search and rescue operations continue for 27 missing individuals. Around 105 people were injured. Time for today's biggest headlines. I'm Gretchen Ho.
I'm Robbie Alampay. You're watching The Big Story. After constantly monitoring the destruction in Baybay, Leyte, we now go to Abuyog, where several parts of the city were also buried following a landslide.
Rescue operations are now on hold as the situation there remains unsafe. Jenny Dongon with The Big Story.
This cell phone video shows a dreadful scene as a landslide wipes most of Barangay Pilar on Tuesday. The resident who took the video could do nothing but watch and cry. In a matter of minutes, houses were left in ruins. We chanced upon Janeline, covered in wounds and block marks. She lost her 2 children to the landslide, both of them still classified as missing.
Sabi ko, mabuhay ka, laban lang. Kahit wala na po akong lakas nun, pero sinikap ko pa rin kahit na na-dislocate na yung kamay ko. Pero wala na po talaga.
His husband Arnel said that they were trying to evacuate, but it was already too late. He can only hope to see both his children alive.
Sana mahanap siya. Mabigyan mo ng
While preemptive evacuation was put in place, Abuyog Mayor Limel Traya said nothing could have prepared them for the landslide in Barangay Pilar.
Dito sa Abuyog, we are prepared for flood. Sanay kami sa baha dito. We are below sea level and we are blessed with 3 major rivers, Higasaan River, Layog River, Bito River. Sanay kami sa baha. Alam namin kung ano gagawin pag baha. Yung landslide yung naging problema namin.
According to the local government, 250 were rescued out of more than 400 residents of Barangay Pilar. Rescue operations were put on hold as the ground collapsed once again due to the foul weather.
Hindi sila makag-operate sa site mismo ng landslide kasi nga hindi pa stable yung lupa. We cannot put our men in harm's way, so safety nila yung priority. So sa gilid-gilid muna sila naghanap ng mga kung ano lang makikita nila na matulungan.
How are rescue operations going at the moment in Leyte? That big question and more with Leyte PDRRMO Officer Roel Montesa, who's joining us over the phone. Good evening, Mr. Montesa.
Good evening, magandang gabi po. Inyo, wala na sa mga nanonood at nakikinig sa ating mga programa.
Mr. Montesa, kahapon pa po tayo nakakita ng mga talagang nakakabahalang mga eksena. Ilan pa po ang unaccounted for sa Leyte?
Ang yung araw nito, sa Bisawar, 26 males, 16 females. Ang death toll umakyat sa 62.
Kamusta naman po ang mga evacuation center?
Regarding nandun pa kasi yung mga kasama ko sa site. Pauwi pa lang.
Ala na. We do apologize for the technical problems there. Nonetheless, maraming salamat po. That was Leyte PDRRMO Officer Roel Monteza.
While Tropical Depression Agaton has weakened to a low pressure, it will still bring scattered rain showers over the next few days, especially in Quezon, Bicol, Oriental Mindoro, and portions of Visayas. The LPA was last located 65 kilometers southeast of Aguian, eastern Samar. It is expected to move eastward toward the Philippine Sea, moving away from the Samar-Leyte area, where it made landfall twice. Meanwhile, the active tropical cyclone outside of the Philippine area of responsibility, formerly named Bashang, was last located 1,620 kilometers east of northern Luzon, moving northeast. It is packing winds of up to 155 kilometers per hour and gusts reaching 190 kph. The Visayas area is forecast to have cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms caused by the trough of the typhoon. These are the other big stories tonight. Manila City Mayor and presidential candidate Isko Moreno says he is still not backing out of the race amid rumors of backdoor talks asking him to give way to VP Leni. A two-day coding will be likely implemented in NCR by May. The MMDA has submitted its proposal, which is now just up for the approval of the Metro Manila Council. And Cardinal Tagle tackles fake news in his Holy Week message. He hopes the faithful will get tired of falsehoods.
still watching The Big Story. I'm Robbie Alampay.
And I'm Gretchen Ho. This time we go back to Baybay City in Leyte, where landslides have so far claimed 47 lives.
But with 27 still missing and unaccounted for by local authorities, it's feared that the death toll could go higher. Romel Lopez with this story.
Angeline Meare screamed her emotions out after seeing the bodies of her two children. Her husband's body was also recovered just a few meters away from the landslide site in Barangay Bunga.
Padayon na lang sa inyo. Huwag na to.
Ipagpatuloy mo lang ang paglalakbay ng ating mga anak na si Angelique at Joanna kung nasaan ka man ngayon, Tay.
At least 16 bodies were found in Barangay Bunga alone. Authorities said they will continue digging to make sure that everyone will be accounted for.
Mayroon pa daw silang naririnig na boses. Yung hinahabol namin, baka buhay pa. So, pinilit namin. Pero sa paraan naman na wala din madidisgrasya na sa nagre-retrieve. Okay lang naman, kaya naman. Basta sa tulong-tulong lang.
Social Welfare Chief Rolando Bautista is in Baybay City, Leyte to assist in relief operations on the ground. He said the government will shoulder the burial of the victims.
Reinforce na kami dito ng mga social workers, no, galing sa aming region. Yung binabanggit mo kanina para psychosocial interventions in coordination dito sa DOH. Kasi talaga sa ganito sitwasyon, kailangan maagapan kagad yung trauma ng mga apektadong pamilya.
Meanwhile, the Western Leyte Provincial Hospital is filled with patients. Elvira lost almost all of her relatives in Barangay Cantagnos.
Ewan ko, hindi namin alam kung anong gagawin namin, sir. Kasi kawawa yung mga bata. Wala ka ng damit, wala ka ng pagkain, wala.
Around 105 people were injured by landslides. Half of them needed immediate medical attention.
Marami naman nagpunta, tumulong. Kompleto naman yung ospital ng mga gamit sa kagamot.
As of Wednesday afternoon, authorities said 47 people were killed in the series of landslides in Leyte, while 27 remain missing. For News 5, Romel Lopez. We are One News.
As Agathon weakens, the extent of its damage on agriculture and infrastructure is starting to add up. According to the Agriculture Department, damage and losses to the sector have reached more than 423 million pesos. More than 6,000 farmers with close to 11,000 hectares of land were also affected. Meanwhile, Agathon's damage to infrastructure is reported to have reached 145 million pesos. The Public Works Department says 8 out of 37 road sections affected by Agathon have been reopened. 29 are still closed due to flooding and soil erosion. Two Marcos groups, or we should say former Marcos groups in the Visayas, are now endorsing the presidential bid of Manila City Mayor Isko Moreno. The groups Marcos pa rin and Partido Federal ng Pilipinas joined the Visayas for Isko Sara Alliance, declaring their support for Moreno. This comes after IM Pilipinas, the group that originally urged Moreno to run, switched to Vice President Leni Robredo. Moreno says he will not withdraw his candidacy amid rumors of backdoor talks by IM Pilipinas, asking Moreno supposedly to make the supreme sacrifice and give way to Robredo.
For the past 35 years of our lives, tuwing national election, lagi may away ang pula at may away ang dilaw. If you want peace of mind, that I can offer easily sa ating mga kababayan. Kaya, for the end time, pigilan natin to. Maiba naman. Available po ako.
As we move closer to May 2022, eyes are on the youth as a critical player for this year's presidential elections. But just how big is the youth's vote in the upcoming polls, and can they really make or break a candidate's chances? Find out in my report. With less than a month before the elections, the youth has been a driving force this campaign season. From wearing political colors in school events, attending rallies on ground, going house to house, to posting about their candidates online. In a virtual youth forum organized by JCI Manila, student leaders across the Philippines expressed their hopeful dreams for the country and our next administration.
When we try to scrutinize qualities of a student leader, it should also be the same to our national leaders. First is competent. Second is they should be values-oriented. Last and the most important is someone who will always show up.
Ang mas mahalaga sa amin ay ang lagyan natin ng halaga ang ating boto. Sabi nga, exercising your right to vote is different from putting or giving value and honor to our vote.
COMELEC data would show that bulk of new registrants are from the 18 to 21 and 22 to 33 age brackets, a whopping 26.3 million voters in total. If those up to the age of 40 are added to the fray, the youth vote will amount to 54% of the total voter count. A tech-savvy demographic said the COMELEC might just be a game changer.
You can leverage new tech for more responsive leadership. You can use this tech to surface new ideas and ultimately democratize public discourse. If we have a new generation of principled voters who reject the practices of the past, we are beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
But will the youth really be voting differently? If we base it on trends during past elections, sociology professor Jail Cornelius says this might not be the case.
If you look at social media, if you only live on social media, then most likely you would assume na, okay, yung mga progresibo. But when I disaggregated the data, actually they simply voted for exactly the same people. Lito Lapid, si Bato de la Rosa, si Bongo, and again, echoing the majority. So that's one way of looking. And in 2022, that's what we're seeing as well.
But with more than half of the voting population, the COMELEC said the youth holds so much power in determining the next election's results.
16.6 million Filipinos voted to install the current president. This means that in both 2016 and 2019, the 22 million voter turnout of the youth could very easily have spelled the difference. The youth will be shaping the outcome of the coming elections.
Gretchen Ho, We Are One News. On the next part of this story, we take a look at how the youth help make big changes in the recent surveys and whether or not that's going to translate in the upcoming polls. For now, we go to another quick break. More of the big stories when we return.
still watching The Big Story. I'm Robbie Alampay.
And I'm Gretchen Ho. With the last working day of the Holy Week about to end, some commuters are now trying to secure last-minute trips heading home.
For the latest updates, we have Camille Samonte reporting to us live from the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange. Camille, how's the foot traffic in PITX tonight?
Gretchen, Robbie, more passengers continue to flock to the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange amid the Holy Week exodus. So far, the PITX management estimates foot traffic at 140,000. Last-minute travelers await in long queues here in the terminal, with some of them bound for provinces, while others are just on their regular weekly commute. But the situation is particularly harder for chance passengers who were not able to book their trips in advance, as they are just waiting for available tickets. With the last working day of the Holy Week, some of the trips are now fully booked, while bus routes going to Quezon Province, Baguio, and Batangas are still accepting passengers. PNP Chief General Jonardo Carlos conducted an inspection earlier to monitor the influx of passengers. And he said that there has been more passengers here in PITX compared to the Araneta bus terminal in Cubao. With everybody taking the chance to get home to their loved ones this Holy Week, authorities are also reminding commuters to strictly follow safety protocols, especially since the terminal is now operating at full capacity. Robbie, Gretchen, PNP has deployed more than 50,000 personnel to ensure peace and security nationwide as more people are expected to go home to their provinces. With this, PNP Chief General Carlos reminded the public to stay vigilant. Robbie, Gretchen?
Definitely good to book online and in advance. That was Camille Samonte reporting live to us from PITX. The MMDA hopes to implement by May the new two-day coding scheme for every private vehicle in the NCR. The agency is now just waiting for the Metro Manila Council's go signal. Under the proposal, coding hours will be from 5 to 7 p.m. Cars with plate numbers ending in 1, 2, 3, and 4 are not allowed on the road during Mondays, 5, 6, 7, and 8 on Tuesday, 9, 0, 1, and 2 on Wednesday, and so the list goes on until Friday. The MMDA says the buses, jeepneys, motorcycles, and TNVs will not be affected. The proposed scheme aims to reduce the volume of cars in major NCR roads by as much as 40%.
To fight the spread of fake news, that was Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle's message for the Lenten season, where he talked about the spread of falsehoods online.
These messages were part of a special virtual event called the Word Exposed 2022 Lenten Online Recollection. Tagle posted snippets of his message on his social media accounts. In one post, Tagle encouraged the Catholic faithful to not get weary of doing good to others despite getting tired with other activities.
In another post, Tagle expressed hope that people may soon get tired of falsehoods. The Cardinal also lamented the increasing discrimination and prejudice against one another.
If ever we would get tired, I hope we would get tired of all the falsehood that spreads around. Kung mapapagod din lang naman tayo, huwag tayong mapagod doon sa mabuti. Mapagod tayo doon sa hindi mabuti.
A great reminder for all of us on how to spend the upcoming Holy Week.
We hope it's going to be a season of hope, of renewal, and of truth.
And I know that everybody's excited to go on vacation, finally, to get out of their homes. But let's remember to pray, give time for silence. And tama, pagmunihan natin kung sinong iboboto natin. Konti ilang araw na lang.
But in the meantime, I hope you and your family and everybody, lahat ng nakapila pa rin dyan sa mga terminal. But we hope, 2 years, people have not gone home in 2 years. We hope everybody has a blessed Holy Week and a meaningful Easter.
And that wraps up today's big story. Catch us again on Monday at 8 p.m. on Signal Channels 8 and 250.
Please like our Facebook page, One News. For more in-depth analysis, visit our webpage, onenews.ph. Mask on.
Wash hands.
And stay safe, Philippines. Ako po si Robbie Alampay.
At ako naman si Gretchen Ho. We are One News. Have a good evening.